How's it going, guys? Welcome back. Please like and subscribe if you like what I'm doing. So I seen another interview, another Alex Karp. Great, it's a little section of it, but I think you guys should check it out if you're a big Palantir bull. Like I definitely would like to say I am. Um, it's kind of encouraging to listen to the CEO of the company talk like this and how important he is. But yeah, let's go ahead and get this started.
Nice to see you. How many times have we been doing this?
Many times. Yeah.
And we've been through a bit of a roller coaster in terms of the economy, in terms of the world, geopolitics, and everything. What is your sense now, and do you think the sensibility is here right now?
Look, we've been meeting for many years, and when we first met here and you filmed me, the idea that the world is disjointed, violent, unlikely to be pure and global, that world leaders would fight more than they get along, that there would be derision and division into major democracies, and that we'd see a war in Europe looked like the nightmare fantasy of something that you would not believe could happen. And of course, we built our company on the idea that the world is disjuncted, violent, but could be made better. I think the core issue for people behind closed doors at Davos is, okay, clearly the world is not going to be the way we thought it is. It clearly is not going to.
He's been saying this pretty much the whole time. Like since I pretty much started investing in the company, he's been saying the same exact thing. I haven't really yet heard anything new, but later on in the video, you'll hear some good things. It's crazy because he kind of predicted everything. Like, he held gold instead of buying crypto. When it was a big time, everybody was buying crypto. He was like, yeah, I'm going to buy gold for a black swan event. And he'd always talk about war, and people like the guy that's interviewing him would kind of laugh at him, and they think he's crazy. But now things are kind of coming true. What he's saying.
Going to be more peaceful, less disjointed. How can we still make the world actually function in a separated, disjointed world where there is war in the heart of Europe, where Western allies are having to mobilize against their adversaries, including Russia and China, where people still want to have industry, where supply chains are disrupted, and where we have pandemics?
Your personal optimism or pessimism, though, right now, I mean, there's a lot of pessimism here.
Yeah, look, we built our company, and I believe in addressing the world as it is. We built our company around the way the world is now. I am pessimistic about the near future, very optimistic about what we can do to help that. So I agree with people around here, but you got to understand, especially in the tech industry, and to some extent here, but you have people that were just certain they were going to win. Everything was going to break their way. Sure, no one would go out with them in high school, but they're going to own the high school, and they're going to own the whole state, and everything's going to work out, and, they're gazillion dollars, and all of a sudden, all these assumptions aren't actually true. And, they're in a little bit of a depression funk. And that's normal when things are not breaking your way, when the world is changing away. But, there's a lot of ways to actually make the world a better place. First of all, the West can show we actually have superior technology, and we're showing that.
When you said you're pessimistic short term, what do you mean by that?
Well, I think that we are just learning as world organizations how to live in a world that is very different than we thought. So I don't think the war is likely to end in Ukraine.
You don't?
I think, look, it's very hard to know what's going to happen, but you have an adversary who is zero-sum. If Putin goes home and says, hey, we lost, he will lose his life, his friends will lose their life, they'll lose all their money. And he'll go to his grave feeling that he lost, which he does not want to do. We in the West, most of us in the West, correctly believe if we allow these kind of things to happen, if we allow people to violate the sovereignty of a land and rape, pillage, and destroy people who are innocent in that land, that this will set a horrible precedent. So we can't allow that to happen. Also, we've shown that.
Honestly, guys, I just wanted to stop it right there real quick. I thought the war was maybe coming to an end, because you could kind of see the money getting out of the market in January, right before the war, and now you're seeing a flood back into the market, which could only mean two things, in my opinion. It could be shorts covering so they can drive the market down even more, which a lot of people are kind of agreeing with that. I'll talk about that in another video. But or the war ending, and that would of course send everything back up. But what Karp's saying, it doesn't sound like it's going to end anytime soon. That's terrible.
Shown that we developed superior technology, and combined with heroes on the ground, we can actually win. And so this is just still a class of culture.
that's a pessimistic view geopolitically of potential war and the like. What's your view of the economy and the ramifications? And maybe it's a ramification of war.
No, I think the chief thing hurting the economy is we're in an unknown zone where things are happening we didn't plan, like wars, trying to deal with the wars, inflation. We're also highly divided inside of our countries in the West.
What do you make of? You have a lot of corporate clients here. It's not just government. The feeling from them, their ability to buy, spend more, or not right now.
Well, they're gonna, just like in a war situation, because our clients are not in a war situation where it's like not like Ukraine, but de facto it's the same thing. We have to survive under much harsher conditions. And what are they going to do? They're going to figure out what works, what doesn't, what's a PowerPoint, what's a fraud, what's actually transforming the business. American businesses here, by and large, have a huge advantage, which America underestimates. What makes Americans interesting? We are very, very pragmatic. We adapt, we learn, we change.
You said, what's a PowerPoint and what's a fraud? And the reason I raise it is a lot of people who are running around either trying to pretend there are businesses like yours or pretend there are all sorts of businesses. What do you think of the washout that's happened in Silicon Valley, across the world?
It's very, very, very hard to be joyous because people are in pain. But I mean, we compete against PowerPoints and basic and technology that is useful but not transformative. What a situation like the current one we're in, whether it's war in Ukraine, like why did they adopt Palantir? Because you can't afford PowerPoint or a PowerPoint when your life is on the line. What's happening to businesses? Their revenues are going down. The regulation is going up. Their workforce is unhappy for lots of reasons. They have to somehow rebuild their culture and attack. And that exposes things in your business that are both good, bad, ugly, and transformative. And of course, everybody wants to be like, there's the Palantir of my cockroach.com farm. Like, and it's like, we are the best Palantir for making sure that cockroaches and others get proper nutrition. And yeah, that works under bad conditions, but it does not under good conditions. It does not work under bad conditions.
What do you make, though, of the valuations that have taken place in tech, including to your own company?
Look, we've been at this for almost 20 years. Our valuation has been very high and very low. What we're very interested in is how is the business doing? I run this business for better or worse. I know how the business is doing. And by the way, over the medium term, not the short term, valuations do reflect the health, integrity, and success of a business. And in the short term, that fluctuation of valuations expose people who are out on the beach naked. You know, if you're out swimming naked, which by the way I embrace, it's kind of hard when it's just like if you're out here without the proper coat. It exposes the weakness in certain businesses. In the end, especially in America, where we're adaptive, the stronger businesses will grow, thrive, expand, and we'll end up with a much.
What do you tell investors who say, "Look, this stock has fallen"?
I can tell you. Well, investors, I tell our employees, look, there's market conditions that affects the share price.
But is it market conditions? Is it the way the market views your particular company? That there are investors who are frustrated with what they call dilution, right?
Right. There are legitimate concerns we have to address. So, dilution, what are the revenues going to be? Where are the revenues going to develop? How transformative the products? All legitimate concerns. What the investors we have primarily, our most important investors, are coworkers. What we believe is our business is stronger than it's ever been.
Right.
And we have a lot of evidence that convinces us. We believe our conviction will convince the world over a multi-year period, and that's what I care about.
Right. But the question is, were the valuations before, when this stock was a $40 stock?
Yeah, look,
you say to yourself, that was Alice in Wonderland, crazy town?
Let me tell you something. One of the things that's been most helpful about running this company is that when you're kind of like outside the norm, a little bit of a freak show. Like, I never thought we were that good when the share price was 40, whatever. I didn't think we're that bad when the share price is 6 or whatever it is. I know what makes the business strong, and I'm focused on that. And I honestly never thought I was that perfect at 40. I don't think I'm that bad now. I think it's just like you work on the business, you have a huge problem if you're like full on like normal Silicon Valley capitalist pretending you care about altruism or whatever, that you actually judge your life by the share price.
Let me just ask you one other investor-related question, which is, who should the investor base compare your company to? So some people say, oh, it's a consulting company. We should look at Accenture. It should be a multiple of that or not. Other people say, oh, it's a software company. It should be somewhere should be in the middle, maybe. What is it?
If you doubt what our company is, talk to the Ukrainians, talk to the CEO of Hertz, talk to BP, talk to the Special Forces. They'll tell you this product saved my life or made my company better. And
guys, did you hear that? It saves lives and makes their company better. And that's why I don't want to be so hard on Hertz. I know I kind of pick on it a little bit, but they're really trying to turn themselves around. Bringing in Palantir was a good call for sure. Ever since they brought in Palantir, I've liked Hertz better. Like, I don't know about you guys, but I mean, also they brought Teslas in, so they're going to be, pretty much the best car rental company, in the U.S. I think they have that potential. That's why I've thought about buying the stock. Of course, right now my directions are in other places. But I might even add a little bit more Palantir. That was a powerful statement, again, from Alex Karp.
If you don't have to believe me, believe them.
There was a fascinating piece in the Washington Post that really described what Palantir has done in its involvement in Ukraine in a very detailed way. I mean, you alluded to it in some of the interviews that we've done over the years. How is that changing the business? And now that that's public, if you will, does it change the kind of conversation you can have?
Look, well, we built PG, which single-handedly stopped the rise of the far right in Europe. We built Foundry, which was used to distribute the COVID vaccine and saved millions of lives globally. We built what we call multi-constellation, what's often called the digital kill chain. And they're category-defining products. So when you deliver these products to the market, just honestly, people say this isn't going to exist, this isn't valuable, but then it changes the market. And then the market is the Palantir market. Now, that doesn't mean everyone in the world is going to buy our product, but it means most of the sensible people in the world are going to buy from the category we define. And that is exactly what's happening in the warfighting context.
He's getting
happening because of, you have to look at this. You have a small country that galvanizes this country, brings us heroes and forth, and they're up against the third most important army in the world, and they win. Every single country in the world that finds out, they ask, well, how did you do it? What can we do? What is the cost of that? How long does the implementation take?
I always ask you this, but given the increasing tensions it appears between the U.S. and China, where are we? What are our capabilities? What are you worried about?
We are very lucky. The Chinese government is very focused on internal security. The U.S. has to heavily, and its allies, focus on external security. We are better at software than the Chinese, but we're also better at focusing on something we care about. How do you repel an adversary that wants to invade your territory? It should be the single focus and we are, partly because we're better at it, partly because that's the need.
If we had a conversation here 10 years time, would China have taken Taiwan, tried to take Taiwan? What do you think happens?
I think it largely depends on how powerful our software, hardware, hero quotient is. If we continue to do what we're doing in the Ukraine, look, if Russia had known what Russia knows now, I think there's a pretty strong chance they would not have invaded.
SPACs. What was the lesson of investing in SPACs?
Most companies were not prepared for bad weather like we were. Stay away from companies that are not prepared for bad weather.
That was the lesson, but you invested in companies that were not prepared for bad weather.
Exactly. We should be more investing in ourselves, not investing in companies that are not prepared for bad
weather. How did
weather.
that happen?
Look, we are the world's best, in my view, at building software before people need the software. You make mistakes along the way. We made a mistake. We corrected it. We're moved on.
All right, guys. Well, that's that. Here, we can bring this into full here. But yeah, I mean, guys, sorry, computer's kind of messing up a little bit. But everything he said was great. I mean, he took responsibility for the SPACs, that he bought and then had them use his software, so it's kind of, buying some revenue kind of. I know that sounds crazy, but okay, it didn't work out. I mean, we've all made mistakes. So who cares with that? What I hear is I think he understands the dilution problem, and I